Hello and welcome back. Today I am going to work on something very important, and I really wanted to bring you with me because this is the kind of things that I can't do on my own. A very important part of next year, and maybe by the title, I don't know what I'm gonna title this video yet, but maybe by the title you know what I'm talking about. And yes, I am planning my 2024 bucket list slash life plan slash mood board slash vision board, whatever I'm planning to do today. I don't even know. I just know that I need to plan next year right now. And I'm gonna start with a little disclaimer that yes, I am aware that I probably am not gonna follow through with all of that, but I'm gonna tell you, I am a very determined person when it comes to my silly hyperfixations. I might not stick to the goal of going to the gym regularly. I mean, I still believe I still am that person that would put it on my list because I genuinely believe I will, but that is not what we're doing here today. I am talking more about the things that make me me. We're talking about some inner self planning situation we're gonna do here, okay? I have done a lot of growth this year as a person, I feel like. I mean, I remember the beginning of this year, I was a whole other person having the worst panic attacks of my life and having the worst mental health that I've ever experienced ever. And I feel like even though right now I am not as healthy as I would like to be, and definitely not as stable as I wish I was, but a lot of growth has happened. And I will say, family and friends aside, I owe it a lot to two very important things that I have been doing a lot this year, and it is reading and TikTok. I have found my For You page, my ideal For You page, the people that I connect with. I love my fellow Delulu people that just live life as if we are in one beautiful movie, and that is what I'm planning to do for next year as well, because it did save me this year. I was toasting some bread. I'm gonna be back. I'm back. Now that I've got my bread and my butter, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot about me that I'm trying to figure out, and especially now that I'm trying to be more active and present on my social media, my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, as an artist, but also as myself. I feel like that has helped me realize a lot of things. Different things that I want to experiment with, what is really my niche, and what kind of person I want to be, you know? At least in my Delulu universe, because let's be real, we're all playing a character, okay? Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. We're all playing a character, and that is not only okay, that is encouraged, because that is how you grow. See, you don't become a new person or the person you want to be just like going to bed and waking up the next day. You create that person, you embody them, the role of your life, and eventually it just happens. See, I don't know if that is my mental instability speaking, but I truly believe what I just said, and I am going to continue that. So yeah, one of the things is that I am going to work on a list, sort of like a bucket list in a sense for next year, but it's more like, I wouldn't call it a bucket list because it's not about things I want to do, but more about things I want to become, you know? Let's get deep. Let me put some butter on my toast. Show you while I work. I've been having a little bit of a hard time when it comes to social media, because as the name implies, social media, it's about being social. And even though I understand everything is a process, I feel like I am at that stage still where I am putting out my work, my art, and myself because it's what I enjoy, but I don't feel like I'm reaching a lot of people yet. And I don't mean a lot of people like in numbers, but like engagement in general, you know. Like, I'm not really having a conversation, I'm kind of having a monologue, but I believe someday, you know, it'll happen, and maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's part of my goals for next year, just be more engaging, I guess. Be more engaging. Yeah, I think that's a good way to start off this list. Be more engaging in social media. I want to be the kind of person you see and you immediately feel inspired to make art. I know that's a big goal, but that's what I want to be. I don't want to just create art to sell or to have as a product. I want to inspire like a lifestyle, you know? Like, I want to show more of my process, behind the scenes, inspiration, stories that I made up while working on stuff, and then obviously the finished product. I don't want to just show you something and boom, you know. I want to bring you with me in the journey. That's aside from being more engaging, I would say I want to be more open with my art. Yeah. I also want to experiment a little more. And I feel like I have been a little bit good about that in the last 1 or 2 months. But, you know, I don't think that's enough time for me to say that I've got that. So I'm gonna add it for next year's goals, you know, just continue what I've already started. I want to experiment more. What do I mean by experiment? So I've talked about how I want to make more art inspired of stories that I write, but I also want to experiment with the media. I want to do a little bit more of mixed media with my paintings. I want to collage on those babes, okay? And I have been buying a lot of things I want to add to my paintings. I just haven't done it yet, but I've gotten like cute ribbons, cute charms, and beads and stuff like that. So I have the tools, I have the resources, and I have the ideas. I just have to do it, you know? So that's why that's on the list. This one is a very recent hyperfixation that I don't care, okay? It doesn't matter if I've been obsessed with something for one day, I will commit to the obsession, so I'm adding it to the list. I just recently, oh my god, I know, I am so late, like I'm almost embarrassed. Like, you know what, I don't want to even tell you. No, I gotta tell you because it's like context. I just watched Marie Antoinette, the movie directed by Sofia Coppola? I don't know how to pronounce her name. I loved it so much, and I know it's like a favorite for everybody. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it. I have absolutely no excuses, and yes, I should be jailed for that, but the fact is I watched it, I loved it, and I want to watch every single Sofia Coppola movie ever. Add it to the list. Also, I'm pretty sure she directed that new movie Priscilla, and I have to go watch it, so perfect timing, okay? This was 100% a coincidence. So yeah, I'm gonna watch all the movies by this lady because I have seen a lot of the aesthetic on TikTok, and I watched this movie today, and I've seen a lot about Priscilla coming. Well, I think it just came out. It's the perfect timing. I have to. Besides, anything that gives that girly vibes, I am going to gobble it up. I also read The Virgin Suicides last year, and probably it's one of those books that I have to reread because when I did read it, maybe I wasn't in the right mind space, but I didn't really love it as much as I was expecting to. So I want to watch the movie and then read it again and maybe see it from a different perspective. I don't know, but it's on my list, okay? Also, for my list, talking about books and movies and all that, I want to reread so many books that for the same reason as The Virgin Suicide, I feel like I read them when I was not on the right mind space. And, you know, I want to give them another chance because I do believe, not necessarily is the case with everything, but I believe in general, when something is very loved, there is a reason behind it. It might not be a good reason, it's not necessarily always the case, but I feel like when I feel like something that is very loved and people have really strong opinions about, I immediately just dislike and feel nothing. I'd rather assume I didn't get it and give it a second chance. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm humble like that, but I don't like to just give things one chance and just dismiss them. So yeah, I have a little bit of a list that I'm working on, and I will share it later because I actually have to like sit down and go through that. Definitely two of those books that come right to my mind, it's Bunny and My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I actually did not dislike it when I first read it, but I feel like I didn't get it well enough, you know? So those are definitely on my reread list. Let me add that to the year list. So yeah, I have to reread some of those books because even if I dislike them, I want to know exactly why. I feel like right now I just don't feel anything at all. I didn't hate them, I didn't love them, and I don't really have an opinion. And I don't like that. I like to have opinions. So we're gonna go back to that. Another thing I want to do is something that I actually started doing last year and for some reason dropped it. But it is to have a lot more time or dedicate more time to studying things that I'm interested in just for the fun of it. Because I even started doing a little bit of a series, well, I guess it was this year, like a study with me thing, and I was doing very like different topics. I was doing languages and art history and biographies and anything that I'm interested in. Then I just dropped it. I feel like that's something I really need to retake, and I feel like part of the reason why it's because I've been really feeling a little bit stuck in a routine, and I feel like I'm at that point where I feel like I know what to do to get out of it. But once I was stuck in that routine, I kind of was in the mindset of like, this is it. And I kind of just dropped a lot of the things that I enjoy. Now obviously I look back and I'm like, why did I do that? But at the time, who knows why I did it. Thing is, I'm going back to it. Studying for fun. I want to be specific because I'm gonna forget later what I meant by that. I want to go back to studying Latin. I was studying Latin with my friend and I think she's still doing it. So I need to show her what's up and go back to it and be better than her. So I have been studying Korean. That one I actually have been very consistent with because I have a teacher. So it's like an actual class, but I want to add a little bit more extra studying. So I'm gonna add it at my for fun studying. Korean. I want to go back to my art history. That I have been doing a little bit more consistent than everything else just because I actually extract a lot of that as inspiration for working on paintings. Like I have been talking about Frida Kahlo for the last 2 months, I feel like almost every day, and I'm not even done, so I'm just giving you a break, but I'm not even done with her. So yeah, I'm gonna add art history there. I feel like that also varies with whatever books I have been obsessed with, because at the time when I first started this and started learning Latin, it's because I started reading Babel, and that really got me into that language obsession. So I guess some of these things are gonna fluctuate depending on what I'm reading at the time, because I am that kind of person and that's okay? It took me a while, a long time, to accept that's just the person that I am. I'm a seasonal person. That's how I like to call it. I'm a seasonal person. Whatever I'm feeling like at the moment, I'm just gonna do it, you know what I mean? And consistency, I mean, it's good for specific things that I need in my everyday life. But when it comes to just hobbies and interests, I let myself flow, you know? Because that's what it's all about. It's just about what's fun. If something doesn't feel fun at the moment, then I'm just gonna give it a break and I'm gonna be back to it later. So yeah, I'm very easygoing when it comes to that. You know what I want to do? I have never set a goal for myself when it comes to reading. Like I just hope I read. That's it. That's my goal. Hope I read anything. And I don't want to give myself a really hard goal that makes me frustrated and makes it feel more like a chore than for fun. But I think it'll be fun to give a little bit of a challenge. And if not, then nothing happens. But let's see. You know what? I have a reading journal that I started and haven't touched in years. She's so cute. It's almost disrespectful that I have not used her in so long. Like literally, all of this is empty. These are all the pages I've done. And I used her to keep track of what books I've read so far in 2023. And oh my god, she needs to be updated because the last book in my list that I read is Crime and Punishment. And that was decades ago. So we're gonna give her an update. I like to write little like synopsis, or I don't know, I just like writing essays for fun. So I wrote like a 7-page essay about Babel. Is it actually 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-page essay on Babel. The only book I've written about on my journal is Babel so far. So you know what, let's add that to the list. Be more consistent with my reading journal. I also feel like I want to be more of that person that just enjoys the little moments in life. And don't get me wrong, I already am, but I feel like I so easily forget when things go wrong. And that's part of being Delulu, you know, just focusing on all the little moments and romanticizing the crap out of them. And I need to do that more. So we're gonna add to the list, romanticize. How do I spell that? Every moment. Yes, every moment. I also want to experiment a little bit more with my writing because I only write as a form of inspiring myself to then paint. So I have journals and journals just full of little poems and little stories I write, but I never share them, like at all. And I don't know, I don't feel like they're the kind of things that I would like to hide, or I'm personally or intentionally, I should say, hiding them. I guess I just never really think about them. After I write them, I just forget they exist. So I guess I want to be more, how should I say that? Do more with my writing. That's how I'm gonna write it. Do more with my writing. Oh, another big one that is one of those little ones that I feel like is gonna make an impact in romanticizing my life. I want to work on making a lot of playlists. I believe that music makes the vibe, and I want to make just a bunch of little playlists for every little scenario that I'm planning to romanticize in my life, okay? Every sad day, every minute dilemma. I'm gonna be dramatic about it, and I need a playlist. So playlists for every scenario. Okay, another one occurred to me. I want to be less of a perfectionist. This one really limits me in life in general. I have talked about before how it limits me in my art because there's so much that I would love to experiment with and try, and I just don't because I feel limited just by thinking that I might not do it right. Or sometimes you can find beauty in failure. That sounds so poetic. Because I have made a lot of sketches and paintings that I feel like were beautiful in the process, but just because they don't look like perfect finished pieces, I don't think they're even worthy of sharing. And I don't want to be like that anymore, you know? I want to be able to share more of my mistakes and my messes and what led to the final work, because there's a lot sometimes that gets for me to get to that perfect finalized piece. So I want to be more open. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna write it. Be more open with my imperfect work. You know what? I think for now, this is a good start. So I think this has been a nice list I've worked on. Now I'm just gonna find some pictures to make like a vision board and accompany my list with them because I am a very visual person. Probably even gonna print it as well and have it in my journal. But yeah. So I am so glad that you joined me for this little girly night where we talked about our goals and our dreams and aspirations for next year. I am very hopeful and very optimistic about what the future holds because even though I've gone through a lot of hard times, I've also gone through a lot of growth and fun things. So I believe that Both are definitely gonna happen, but I am excited for the good things. So yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your night. Sleep well, sip some tea, listen to some calming music, and read a book. I'll see you next time. Bye!